They say every subway has its secrets, but the one I work at hides something worse than rats or shadows. I'm the janitor here, and I swear there's something in the men's toilet, something that whispers my name from the water. And last night, it followed me home.
I've been working as a janitor in the subway for over 10 years, and I've seen things most people wouldn't stomach. Vomit smeared across the tiles, piss flooding stalls, needles tucked behind toilet tanks, you name it. But nothing has ever unsettled me like the men's toilet at the east end of the line. It's always damp, always colder than the rest of the station, like the air conditioning is broken just in that section. And then there's the smell. It isn't piss or shit or the usual human mess. It's something else. Something sweet and rotten, like meat left in the sun. No matter how much bleach I pour, it seeps back within the hour. Other staff refuse to clean that block. They joke about it being cursed, but I've noticed they never linger near the door. I once asked old Terry, a guard who worked nights before retiring, what he knew about it. He got quiet and looked me dead in the eye and said, "Don't go poking around in there after midnight. Just don't." Then he walked away and never spoke of it again. Tonight, I was alone on the late shift. The trains had stopped running, the station was empty, and my cart squeaked as I pushed it down the tiled hall. When I reached the east toilet, the smell was worse than ever, cloying, almost wet. My stomach rolled, but I forced myself inside. The fluorescent lights flickered, buzzing, and for a second I thought I saw someone standing at the far end, half hidden by the last stall. A man, tall, slouched. But when the light steadied, the space was empty. I laughed nervously and set down my mop. My footsteps echoed too loud in that room. As I reached the stalls, I noticed the last door wasn't locked, just barely ajar. The smell was pouring from it, thick enough to make my eyes water. I nudged it open with the mop handle. Inside, the toilet was pristine. No filth, no waste, just clean porcelain. Except, when I looked closer, I saw the water wasn't clear. It was dark, rippling, as if something just beneath the surface was moving. And then, faintly, I heard it, a whisper, bubbling up from the water, calling my name.
I froze when I heard it. My name distorted, like air bubbling up through a clogged pipe. The sound was faint, but I swear it came from that toilet bowl. My skin prickled, and the mop handle trembled in my hands. At first, I thought it had to be a trick of exhaustion. I'd worked a double shift, after all, and it was almost 1 a.m. But then I leaned closer. The water rippled again without me touching it, and this time I heard it clearer. Daniel. That's my name. Nobody calls me that here. Everyone just calls me Janitor Dan. Hearing it whispered, gurgling up from black water, made my knees weaken. I staggered back, heart hammering. The lights above flickered again, plunging me into half-darkness. That's when I caught it. Something pale, drifting just under the surface. At first, it looked like a hand, finger spread, floating upward. Then it curled back into the dark, gone. I wanted to bolt, slam the door, and never set foot in this place again. But something rooted me there. Morbid curiosity, maybe? Or maybe that whisper had already hooked into me, reeling me closer. I took out my phone and flicked on the flashlight. The beam hit the water, but it wasn't water anymore. Not really. It looked deeper, like I was staring down a tunnel of black liquid that swallowed the light. No bottom, just endless dark. And then something reached out. A splash erupted, soaking my sleeve. A pale, waterlogged hand broke the surface, fingers clutching at the rim of the bowl before slipping back into the black. I yelped and stumbled backward, knocking over my mop bucket. Water sloshed across the tiles, mixing with the stench. Silence returned, but the smell was worse now, sour and heavy. I swear I could feel it sinking into my skin. I backed out of the stall, chest heaving. My instincts screamed at me to leave, to run upstairs, punch out, and never come back. But as I turned toward the exit, I saw something that stopped me cold. Every stall door was shut. I hadn't touched them. I was sure only the last one had been closed. But now they were all sealed tight, and from behind each door, faint as a draft through old vents, came whispers, overlapping, hissing, my name repeated again and again. Daniel. Daniel.
The sound of my name slithering from every stall at once made my stomach twist. I backed into the sink counter, clutching it so tight my knuckles went white. The whispers weren't in unison. They overlapped. Some high-pitched, some guttural, some almost childlike, like a crowd pressed against thin walls, desperate to get out. I forced myself to breathe, tried to steady my thoughts. It's in my head. I'm just tired. Just tired. But then, the first stall door creaked. The hinge moaned, and the door swung open slowly, deliberately. My flashlight beam quivered as I lifted it toward the gap. The stall was empty. Just stained tile, a cracked toilet, nothing else. Then the second door opened, and the third. One by one, each stall door unlatched itself and drifted wide, as if invisible hands pushed them. The whispers cut off. The room fell dead silent. I was shaking so hard my teeth rattled. My brain screamed, "Run! Run! Run!" But my body refused to move. Something in that silence was heavier than noise, like the air itself was holding me down. And then I saw it. From the fourth stall, a shape crouched low to the ground, just out of the light. It was pale, too pale. Its limbs bent wrong, like a spider trying to mimic a man. It craned its head out slowly, a wet crick in its neck as it turned toward me. I couldn't see its face, only strands of soaked black hair clinging to its skull. My breath caught in my throat. I stumbled back, but the thing moved fast. Too fast. Its arm shot out of the stall, long fingers dragging across the tiles toward me. The sound was like nails on glass. I bolted. My shoe slipped in the spilled mop water, but I managed to lunge for the door. I shoved it open and staggered into the corridor, gasping, clutching my chest like I'd run a marathon. The corridor was empty, silent. I turned back once just to be sure. The toilet door was half open, swinging gently. No sound, no whispers, just the faint smell of rot curling out like smoke. I should have left, clocked out, gone home, burned my uniform. But something caught my eye, right at the base of the door. A wet trail, dark smeared footprints leading out of the toilet, and they were headed in the same direction I had just run. I froze, staring at the wet footprints on the floor. They were warped, elongated, like bare feet but stretched too long, toes splayed unnaturally wide. And there were so many of them, more than one set. They glistened under the flickering lights, heading straight down the corridor the same way I had come. My stomach turned to ice. Whatever was in that bathroom hadn't stayed there. I gripped my mop handle like it was a weapon and forced myself forward, my shoes squeaking on the tiles. Each step I took echoed too loud, bouncing off the walls like I wasn't alone. Halfway down the corridor, I heard it. Footsteps behind me, wet, slapping, keeping pace. I spun, flashlight trembling. Nothing. Just the long hallway and the faint swing of the bathroom door. I told myself I was imagining it until I heard the drip. Plink, plink, plink. Water hitting tile. But not from the ceiling. From above me. I tilted the light upward. For a split second, I wished I hadn't. Something was crawling across the ceiling. Pale, soaked skin stretched tight over bone, fingers hooking into cracks between tiles as it skittered like an insect. Its head hung down, hair dripping black water that splashed against the floor with every sway. And it was smiling. I ran. I don't remember making the choice. My legs just bolted, carrying me down the corridor toward the staff exit. The footsteps behind me multiplied, slapping, dragging, echoing, until it felt like a swarm was chasing me. I slammed into the door at the end, fumbling with my keys, my hands shaking too hard to work the lock. Behind me, I could hear them. Closer. The whispering had returned, not soft now, but furious, a storm of hissing voices snarling my name. Daniel, Daniel, Daniel! The key finally slid in. I twisted it, shoved the door open, and stumbled into the stairwell. The heavy door swung shut behind me with a metallic clang. Silence fell, broken only by my ragged breathing. For a moment I thought I was safe. Then I saw it. A wet, smeared handprint on the inside of the stairwell door. Not mine. I leaned against the stairwell wall, heart hammering so hard I thought it would burst through my chest. My breath came in ragged gasps. The handprint on the door hadn't moved, but I could feel it. Something pressing against the other side. Patient, waiting. I told myself it was over. I'd escaped the subway toilet, escaped the horrors inside. I was safe. I was wrong. A wet drip echoed above me. I looked up. Nothing. Just a dim fluorescent strip buzzing in the stairwell. But the smell, the same sickly sweet rot hung in the air, curling around me like smoke. My stomach turned. I gagged. And then I heard it. The whisper, faint but unmistakable. Daniel. It was closer now, behind me, yet somehow all around me. I spun, flashlight trembling in my hand, but the stairwell was empty. I started descending, faster now, 2 steps at a time, desperate to reach the street. My shoes slipped on the damp concrete. Every shadow seemed to twitch. Every drip echoed like a heartbeat. Then I heard it clearly. A scrape on the metal railing behind me. Something moving. Something fast. I looked over my shoulder, and my stomach froze. The thing was there. Not on the steps, not climbing. It was inside the stairwell with me. Its limbs bent wrong, spidery, dripping black water that hissed as it hit the concrete. Its hair clung to its skull, matted, and its face I could just make it out in the flashlight beam. Eyes black, no pupils, mouth stretched wide in a grin too big for a human face. I turned and ran, heart hammering. My keys slipped from my hand. My flashlight skittered across the stairs, being bouncing wildly. I didn't dare look back. Finally, I reached the street. Fresh air hit me like a wall. I ran until my lungs burned. I didn't stop until I reached my apartment, slammed the door, locked it, bolted it. Safe, right? I sank to the floor, trembling. My phone buzzed. A text. Unknown number. You left the door open. I froze. Then I heard it. A soft, wet scratching at my window. And the whisper, right outside my door now. Daniel.